Hi, I'm Pat Uland, and I am a retired high school math teacher. I actually taught high school for 34 years, the last 14 of which were at HKIS in Hong Kong, Hong Kong International School, and I was in the high school math department. So after I retired, I missed working with young people and I missed the high school math. And at that point, MAST reached out to me and asked me if I was interested in working with them and tutoring high school students in math, and it was really a perfect fit. So I've been working with them for a couple of years. Um, in terms of the AB calculus, that's actually my favorite course that I taught. I taught AB for about 25 years, and during that time, I would often meet with the AP graders and the college board and find out what the coming trends were, as well as places where students often made mistakes. So the AB calculus exam actually has 108 points and you need a 70 to 75, it depends on the year, to get a 5. So you can actually miss a lot of points on that. And there's about 300,000 students that take the exam each year. So if you think about what that looks like, you're going to have thousands, if not tens of thousands of students who make a 5 by 1 point or miss a 5 by 1 point. So we of course want your child to be somebody who can make the 5 by 1 point, or hopefully a safer margin than that. So there are places where students commonly miss points, and I'll go into that a little bit more in a bit. Now, if you look at a high school calculus textbook now, and if you're in the course or your child is in the course, you'll notice that the title probably says something about a numeric approach, a graphical approach, and an analytical approach. And that's a big change in calculus over the last 20 years. So what that allows students to do is to solve much more real life problems. So in the real world, oftentimes you're not going to have a nice equation to work with. What you might have is a set of data or a graph of something's movement, or some graphs representing the sales of some product over the course of time. And so students will absolutely be asked to analyze those things and to be able to make predictions about perhaps what the total sales were for the day, or what the average sales were for the day, or what kind of profit margin you made. So those are some of the types of problems that students will run into. And it's actually a good, because like I said, it allows students to solve much more real world problems. So the nice thing about the AB exam again is that if kids go into it well prepared, they should be able to do a good job on it, as long as they have a good understanding of the calculus concepts. I want to show you a quick example of what the students will see when they're working with me. So what you should have on your screen right now is actually a lesson I was just working with a calculus student this week. And so what happens is I have the students usually send me what the homework assignment is ahead of time, and then I load it up into my notebook so that when I start working with a student, as you see on your screen, this particular problem number 11, it will have the problem in there and I leave workspace for us. And then as I work with the student, we work through the problem. And I'm able to explain the steps in the process. I can color code things, like as you see on the screen, highlight things. And then at the end of the lesson, I export all of these notes as a PDF and send them to the student, so that they have quite a nice comprehensive lesson when they're done. So just let me end by just giving you a couple of really quick hints about the exam. First of all, you always round to at least 3 decimal places, and that is hugely important. And I don't necessarily agree with it, but this is the rules. So if a student works through a difficult problem and they get done and they round it to 2 decimal places or 1 decimal place, they are going to lose a point on that. And that is one of the places that students commonly miss a point. You can go to more than 3 decimal places if you want, but you have to have at least 3. And the second thing is point slope form. And this is kind of a funny thing because students so often in algebra learned to use the mx plus b form, and I'm sure that rings a bell to everybody. That is not the form you should use on the exam, and the reason why is, let's just say you work a problem and you know it goes through the point pi over 2 ln of 6. So the point's kind of ugly, and let's just say that the slope is negative 1/4. All right, all you have to do for the exam is use point slope form, and you're going to have y minus ln of 6 equals the slope times x minus pi over 2, and leave it there. Because if you try to simplify it and you make a mistake in the process of simplifying, you will lose a point. Plus, you're going to waste time on it, and there's no point in doing that. So just always, always, always leave it in point slope form when you're doing a free response question. So I hope this helps, and good luck to your kids on the exam.